Greetings, Ranger fans, and welcome to another Database Rangers Power Reviews review, where I look back on the classic episodes of Database Rangers Power Reviews as we count down the 100 weeks to the 100th and final episode coming next year. So, welcome to Chris, welcome Lex, welcome Jenny, good to see you all. Hope everything's doing well with you this week. I am finally done with school. I think I'm just going to do one last little check to make sure all my grades are in there clean tonight, and then I just gotta drop off like my keys on Monday, and I'm done. So I will have Mondays and Tuesdays once again to work from home on power reviews, as well as obviously taking care of RJ. But I'll have MJ by my side due to those being their days off. So that should hopefully allow me to pick up steam on finishing up some things, making progress on other things. Welcome Scott, welcome Dan, good to see you both. Congratulations on getting your Sengoku driver today, Lex. I know a lot of people love those lock seats. But yes, I'm looking to be doing some significant filming on Tuesday to hopefully wrap up another character, just like I did last week. And I'm sorry to break it to you guys, but I believe that tonight will very likely be the last night of streaming on the old couch in its current form. So it's sad, but it is time to, I think, finally say our goodbyes. But it's possible that it may yet be salvaged. My plans for Monday are basically that I'm going to disassemble the couch and then see if I might be able to rebuild it into something that's a little bit more portable. I have so many people coming to film or I hopefully have so many people coming to film on Tuesday that I'm going to need the extra space in the studio, and I can't really just be dragging this in and out of the room as is. So I'm going to try doing a little carpentry project on Monday, see how that goes. If I'm not able to make it work, I'm not able to make it work, and that'll be it for the couch. But I want to at least give it a fighting chance to be rebuilt into something that might still be workable. So, yeah, it's sad to say goodbye. We've had this couch for a very long time. 15 years, close to it. We're like 14 and a half. And so it has become an integral part of the show, representing the bonding between Database Ranger and Dr. K. So many characters getting a chance to do joint reviews on it, and I had held on to it all this time to make sure that I could get the final scenes with it taken care of, which have been for some time now. But yeah, I'm going to try and see if I can resurrect it into something new. So because I'm terrible at actually throwing things away and saying goodbye to things. I collect way too much clutter around this house, and I really need to work on that. But I really do like having this couch here, and the cushions are really comfy, and I want to see if I can do something to make it still work. So I know that's what you come here for, is for this quality couch content. But unfortunately, we do need to move it right along. As always, we will be having, I say as always, as last week, we will be having another rapid run-through and deeper look on episode 10 of Dino Fury this Sunday at 8 a.m. I'm still working up the scripts for those, but I should be good to film and put those together tomorrow. I've also been working on a performance act for Worlds Elsewhere's Summer Cabaret. So stay tuned to Worlds Elsewhere if you want to see me perform in the cabaret. I've got a fun little spoof song that I've been working on. So hopefully that will be fun. And of course, the big thing coming next week is the 93rd episode of Power Reviews. So keep your eyes peeled for that coming next Wednesday. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to continuing to roll out episodes 95 and 96 throughout the before 94, 95, and 96 by the end of the year. Oh man, I got 3 more episodes to go this year, and then 4 more episodes after that. So there's a lot of work ahead of me, but I'm looking forward to finally hitting those goals. They've been a very long time coming. So before I get too emotional over furniture and filming and all that good stuff, let's kick things off with our 3 non-controversial phrases that we always agree to, which is number 1. Say it with me, chat. Black lives matter. Number 2. Say it with me, chat. Fascism is bad. Number 3. Say it with me, chat. Superheroes all fun. Superheroes are fun. All things that we should be able to say easily if we don't trip over our words, without there being a hint of controversy to those phrases. And let's keep working towards that world where we can all agree to that. Now, all that being said, let's kick off episode 32 of Database Rangers Power Reviews. The review of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers episode 74, Missing Green. And
previously on Power Review. Kind of an inspiring author.
And this is our spring finale for year 1.
No legal record whatsoever
when I broke things up into actual seasons within the year.
Maybe you should worry a little bit less about whether or not
Welcome, Van Daly.
And a little bit more about yourself.
Okay. No, I do not need a co-host.
And
besides, I'm out of Megaforce
it's
Why don't you go back and look
it feels like a nice this episode is a nice culmination of that full season's worth of getting to know these new characters. And you can even see from these from this run that we have sort of recapped everything that happened across the course of these 12 episodes. This being the 13th episode of the spring season, and Database returns to the blue chair.
Welcome to Power Reviews. Well, no co-host today. Me and Guy have been busy packing, and everyone else is helping with the big move. Seems like a lot of trouble for someone who lives right next door, but this is the same guy who numbers his socks, so I can't say I'm very surprised. Regardless, it's probably
Guy is very, very organized.
Solo for a while. Focus on myself, get back to basics. No more co-hosts, no more scientific and technical consultants, just me, you, and a plain, ordinary camera.
That
if I can't do that, then
I need to confess, I don't know how many of you have seen Bo Burnham Inside on Netflix. It is not for children. I want to state that. But that whole, getting down to basics, just me, you, and a simple camera, very similar to that sort of intro of Inside, which I hadn't really made that connection until just now in that particular respect. So, with regards to who is Database Ranger missing during this episode, well, he's missing having a co-host. He's kind of having to be on his own for the first time in the series, which up until now, he'd always had Dr. K or one of the others with him. And just sort of trying to see how well he handles on his own. I'm glad to hear that those young Power Rangers fans were loving it, Dan. I hope they continue to enjoy the series. It also felt very fitting to finally address Mighty Morphin before heading into the summer season. And it is a fitting, it is fitting for him to get back to basics with Mighty Morphin. We've sort of been sidestepping it up until this point in the series, and it also felt fitting because this was sort of the end of the first act of the show in certain regards. We're 32 episodes in. This is about a third into the show now. Not quite exactly a third, but pretty close to it. So this sort of feels like an appropriate Act 1 closer before we get into the second act of the series, where everything sort of ramps up in a lot of different respects. I mean, really, we have the split of year 1, year 2, year 3, but in terms of just the number of episodes, we're right around that 1/3 mark. And right after this, the show is never really the same.
Proving that being a hero isn't just for the fun guy. But Jason can't seem to nail his
that pun was lovely.
True, I know that would be an incentive.
I also felt like this was an interesting episode to explore because this was specifically an episode dealing with a ranger having pathos over a past failure, and we hadn't really, the show hadn't really gone into this sort of depth before.
You don't need to keep saying hi. Okay, I'll go get Guy. Good.
You're right on schedule. Let's get started. Now, I want you on box 33 here.
He has so much stuff.
Oh, sorry about that. So, how was your trip?
It was fun. It was fun. How were things with Mitch and Mary? Were they at least entertaining?
Entertaining is a word. I would probably need some time with dictionary and thesaurus to come up with a better word, but entertaining will do for now.
I do like how we sort of we're really settling into these character dynamics now.
The bedroom. Okay.
And then we just have that nice little sort of shippy moment between those two. Just making sure no one else is coming into his apartment.
Where was I?
One funny thing that that I don't know if I've actually mentioned before, with regards to Database Ranger's apartment, specifically our apartment when we were in there as when we were in there filming originally, we lived in apartment K. Like, that was the actual letter of our apartment, which was always just sort of a fun little bonus thing that if you can see it closely enough, you could probably see the K on the door of the apartment, because that was just where we lived. Oh, I'm glad that your friend enjoyed the review so much, and that you guys were able to sing along. Now, how did I deal with copyright claims? Well, I love whenever Database can go on deep dives, because obviously I love going on Power Ranger deep dives. But the way that I dealt with copyright claims is, well, largely by trying to go unnoticed as best I can in many regards, not fully intentionally, but I try to keep the clips cut short enough that it doesn't trigger claims. But okay, this might not be a reference that everyone gets. That was Evil Dead 1 and 2, the musical, which is a musical that has so much fake blood in it that there's an actual splash zone in the audience. So something you might want to watch out for if you ever go to see it. But around this time, I think I was, I forget if I had made it into Power Force back then. I think I didn't get into Power Force until maybe a year after this. But once I was in Power Force, I was able to communicate directly with Saban Brands, and that lifted a lot of my copyright claims that I've received. But since then, I still get copyright claims on a ton of stuff. Like, although Power Reviews is the main series and it's the main focus of this channel, despite its infrequent release, I often can't monetize these without getting them blocked. So I just don't. I only do monetization on videos that I feel are going to be safe from significant copyright claims, which Power Reviews really isn't, unfortunately.
Otherwise, it would just be so the Rangers can know what's happening and thus be able to stop it, and that would be ridiculous.
That bubble wrap is not edible.
Then again, everything's relative. So while Kimberly trash talks Goldar, Billy forces
I don't know where I got some of these lines for them, but I love how wacky I've made all these neighbors across the course of these past dozen episodes. That has now really gotten into a flow of them bouncing off one another, and
Dimension of Doom! So close. To make matters worse,
so many different dimensions. It's one of the great things about Mighty Morphin. It has a lot of dimensions to it.
You made the right decision when you left Tommy's candle.
Well, he didn't really make the right decision so much as an ill-informed one, as he was given the option of letting Tommy lose his life for his powers, when in fact, Trini, Zack, and Billy could have easily joined Tommy in the battle against Cyclops before Dragonzord battle mode, which would have gained Jason those last 2 minutes he needed.
I love how pedantic I'm getting about this. It's great.
So the decision must be between saving the Rangers
Yeah, it's
and
interesting
saving
how
obviously a very difficult
stripped down this episode actually is for a season finale.
Oh, so the tough
Considering, we do have the big event of everyone's in the apartment, everyone is all doing something in the apartment. But Database is just off in the corner, just trying to stay focused on the show and keep himself separated from everything else. Like, up until this point, he's basically been deliberately trying to distance himself from getting caught up in other in the underlying plot of the show. He kept trying to deny that Dr. K was a hallucination, or that she was actually or whether she was an hallucination or part of the show. He was trying to he's now basically tried to just ignore his amnesia with regards to who he really is. This is sort of the last real attempt that Database makes to just sort of distance himself from all the craziness of his life and just stay in that little bubble of Power Reviews. And part of the reasoning for that is because of everything that we learned in episode 92. The heavy sort of trauma that he experienced being trapped in the void space. He was sort of given this structure of ignoring the wackiness of his life, ignoring his connections to the franchise, and just seeing it as a show and taking some sort of refuge in that. And that is his big motivation throughout this whole first, third of the series. And there we go. That inner monologue bit is actually plot relevant. That foreshadows the later reveal in episode 45, 13 episodes after this, that he has a technopathic connection to the Squee.
We look forward to seeing you again. Bye, Database.
That was so fun to practice. They got it perfect right there in that take. And that's another important plot point right here. The Wii's not plugged in, and Mayo's the one who picks it up. That moment was necessary for the final reveal.
No, that's mine. Well, not mine exactly. It was a gift for a friend. Well, not exactly. It's complicated. Yeah. I'm just wrapping up the episode. Almost done. You.
And again, everything's still just brewing up under the surface. So just all these emotions that he's just trying to avoid having.
Oh, right.
And that's really sort of just his driving conflict throughout that whole first year of the series.
Which is probably at the lake where you last saw it. And that's the end of our episode.
But yes, this was the beginning of the dubbed voices. I believe Paul Rosenthal was the voice of Jason for this episode. I don't know if we ever actually found out the names of the voiceover actors for Twee Trang and Walter Jones. This also was a really suitable episode to choose, not just because of the pathos of it, and because of the fact that we have the missing character that is sort of a big part of the series, but this marks that sort of moment that Power Rangers had to start transitioning into no longer having its core cast, no longer being the show that it was. It had to evolve and adapt as Database is exploring. And this is the moment where Power Reviews is going to have to evolve and adapt after this episode. Right after this episode, we have our first, well, not our first, but our not our first episode outside the apartment, but the beginning of our first real arc outside the apartment, with the introduction of Alphabet Soup next episode, and the whole Mayo kidnapping plot. So, what would the Switch be? What would the Nintendo Switch be? The Nintendo Switch would be not yet unveiled, because for the purposes of the series, it's still 2016 as far as the characters are concerned.
I don't know where we go from here, but until then...
Database?
Yes?
We're all finished up here. You should come say goodbye to God.
I don't know.
Come on!
So, I guess I'll see you around.
Bye.
Come on, guy. You stayed in his apartment for several
For
months.
your hospitality. It exceeded expectations.
Oh, you're welcome.
And?
And I understand that this arrangement lasted far longer than either of us had anticipated. And I appreciate that you sacrificed your sleeping space and your privacy for the duration of that time.
Oh, yeah, no problem. The couch was comfy. A bit small and irregularly shaped, but
It is a small and irregularly shaped couch.
And you can keep the camera.
What?
My camera. You can keep it. Consider it my rent.
Oh, you mean the one I got to replace the one that the ninjas...
Yeah, he knows.
How long has he known?
Since shortly after the first time you said stolen, shortly before the first time you said ninjas.
Oh. Well, why didn't you say anything?
I saw no reason to press the matter. And besides, it's not like I didn't have other cameras that I could use.
What?
I wish you luck in your future endeavors, Database.
And that's another nice little nod here, that Guy has cameras everywhere. He,
Glad you two are getting along better.
Yeah, I mean, I still have...
the reason that we were able to have the shot of him first interacting with Guy at the beginning of the series in episode 4 was because Guy has cameras outside of his door.
No, what? My mind is officially drawing a blank.
Then,
Well,
what was it? And the hiatus after Emperor Madness.
you have my
Will do.
Right back.
Yeah, yeah, everything became much slower after
Are you gonna ask me out or what?
after the Emperor Macro episode, unfortunately.
Not what I meant.
I wish that I could still release episodes as quickly as I did then.
Well, I'm sorry to cut to the chase.
You know,
You've
I
been
was-
taking your sweet time.
I have.
You've been forcing glances at me ever since we first met.
That's not the reason. Well, that's not the reason.
I was releasing dozens of episodes per year back then, and then when we came back after the big hiatus, I've only been able to release a few episodes a year at best, sadly.
I'm really not good at reading signals.
Yeah.
I just thought
What?
that you and Guy.
You didn't die?
I mean, man law.
Man law.
There's never been anything between me and Guy. I mean, this explains so much. And I understand, because I kind of thought he was going that way for a while, too, especially since he kept trying to make plans to go out and stuff. But I'm pretty sure that he's married to his job, and in all honesty, he's kind of a stickler about it.
So you're available
Yes.
and interested
Yes.
in me.
Yes.
So what do I do now?
I
I like dinner.
And the movie.
I like movies.
Tonight.
I like tonight.
Good. I'll give you a call then.
Sounds great.
love this so much because this is
Okay, so
Bye.
just
bye.
me and my now wife, just bantering back and forth and flirting together, and yes, I love this.
Wow. I can't say. Wow. I have a
I-
date.
I
And I have a camera.
I think these two actors have some chemistry. I don't know about you guys. You tell me.
I don't even.
And that also is, another culmination of these run of 13 episodes.
Hello.
It's
Yes. This is
again sort of a like a television season.
Yes. You did. You do.
And then the timing on this is just
No,
so crazy.
Absolutely.
also I love that I did not have a smartphone at this stage.
Right. Okay. Okay.
And yes, MJ did kind of have to,
No, thank you.
be very blunt with regards to interest. And then here's the final
I
bit.
have a publisher.
What?
And I loved ending on it right there. That little cut is right at the end.
Previous.
Oh, nope, not getting you any extra of that. Gotta wait for next week. But yeah, just that boom, boom, boom. It's like, oh, that's the big thing of the spring finale. Oh, database Guy moves out, and then database finally gets a. First, this is all focused on Guy moving out. Then, database and Mayo are gonna go on a date. Oh, that's great. And then it's database got a publisher. Great for him. And then Dr. K just suddenly appears in the last literal second of the episode, which felt like such a good tease for what was coming in the next season. And yes, I did very much resist giving up flip phone. Although I think that one was actually a slide phone at the time. It had the little slider with the little keyboard. Because I just didn't like giving up keys, and I'm just like, it's a phone. I don't need it to be anything other than a phone. I didn't even want to do texting. I hated texting for the longest time. I'm okay with it now, but at the time it was really annoying because I had limited, because texts were limited back then, or at the very least they were from iPhone, so whenever I received texts, I'm just like, oh, I need to go back and delete some to make room for new texts, or it's just going to keep buzzing at me forever. But yeah, this was sort of, I guess you could say, the last of the fluffy episodes. This was the last episode before the plot kicks in hard. You'll even see, though, after this episode that the plot still moves a lot slower than it does now. Like, now it's every episode, there's multiple things happening. And usually, for at least this first run of episodes as we're picking up the plot, there's usually just sort of one thing going on, and, we just have and there'll be like one big development at the end. Because it's still very focused on Database at this point and on his development, before it becomes a little bit more of an ensemble show and we start to get a little bit more intersecting plot threads. I don't think it's quite fair to call me a Luddite. I mean, like, you know, I am doing the live streaming and the whatnots. I'm just, you know, not, I'm not an early adopter. I'll put it that way. I'm not an early adopter when it comes to technology. So, like, I'm always fine with a computer that's a few years old. You know, I was, when I was growing up, our first gaming system was literally an NES when I was 5, which was probably, like, you know, 8 years after it came out, and then the next one we got wasn't until 1998 when we got a Sega Genesis. So, there we go. That is the end of the spring season of year 1. You know, we had sort of that little winter season transition into things where we started doing the joint reviews with Database and K. And then this was sort of the sort of ensemble sitcom kind of arc of the show, where, oh, Database and Guy are going to be wacky roommates, and, oh, we have the drop-in neighbors, and they all have their little quirks. All the while, the mystery of how Dr. K and Database know each other and whether Dr. K is real and who Database really is just continuing to brew just under the surface. And then all that now will take a big center stage spotlight in the episodes to come. And that was sort of how I wanted to do the show. I know I've mentioned it before that I was looking for a bit of a genre roulette. As much with Power Rangers, each year they go through sort of a slightly different genre. Well, each installment, it's no longer every year. So each time that I went to a different season, I wanted to go into a slightly different genre as we continue to move forward. As it went from a, you know, single host with drop-in character to co-host review show to ensemble sitcom to sort of intrigue and action. As we get into the big alphabet soup plot starting next. But I always wanted to make sure that before I got to the next big arc, I wanted to lay the groundwork, lay the foreshadowing, so that it wouldn't feel like it was just an abrupt change, like it came out of nowhere. I wanted to make sure that all of this felt like something that worked with this world, where you pick up on something that's just a little bit off, and then it takes center stage, and then it's like, oh, this is important. What else may have been important? To give the show that rewatch value, to give it that richer emotion for the characters, because you know that there's something underneath it. It's not just, and then this happened, and then that happened. Obviously, I lay out a lot of foreshadowing. There's still things that haven't been revealed yet. Obviously, the biggest being, we still haven't revealed how Database met Dr. K. That moment is still has still yet to be unveiled. As well as, you know, where things are going with the two big plot lines going on right now. And I don't want to give anything away. I'm just telling you that there are more answers coming, and if you think that you have all the answers already, you're probably wrong. I think I saw like an old comment from somebody the other day about how, oh, now that we know the truth about this, now this has much different meaning. I'm like, ho, you think that's the truth about that? Ho, you poor simple person. You have no idea what's coming. So we've got sort of another. I'd say the next episode is going to be again sort of a pathos episode, setting up some real whammers, because yeah, I'd say it's probably the last episode that I would consider sort of a setup kind of episode. Is what we got coming next, much like this one was. It was a culmination of a lot of different things, and we are going to be addressing some major stuff that has been sort of lurking in the background the whole time in the next episode. But it's also going to be sort of the last one before we get into boom, 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 boom. 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. Those final 7 episodes, there's going to be big, big, big stuff happening every single episode. And I can't wait for you all to see it. I'm very proud of the work in 93. I'm looking forward to you seeing it. It is going to be paying off on a bit of foreshadowing from, I want to say, episode 48, episode 49. Yeah, I think it was episode 49. Something that was foreshadowed in episode 49, somewhat addressed in episode 87, and is going to create some major conflict in episode 93. So I'm still paying off things, 40 plus episodes after laying down the groundwork, and I hope that you guys are happy with it. I hope that you enjoy it. This is our first episode in a few months. And I know it's going to be at least another month or two before 94, and then 95 and 96 at the end of the year. But I hope that you guys are hooked into this ride, because it's the releases are going to be slow, but when you see what's coming up, these are going to be the payoffs that I've been waiting so long to reach. For years now. And yeah, I've got some more reviews of Dino Fury left to go, for this weekend and then the following weekend. I still do want to do that Conversations in Context. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to be able to or not. We'll see. Just because I had lost the script crash, and I had lost a ton of work, and I haven't had a chance to get back to it. But yeah, stay tuned, guys. I just like 32 was sort of a little bit of a calm before the storm. 93 is going to be a similar kind of episode in that regard. Not that I would describe the emotions of 93 to be calm. So all that said, we should wrap things up. I've got editing to do on multiple things. So let's not forget our final 3 equally non-controversial phrases. Number 1, say it with me, chat. Love is love. Number 2, say it with me, chat. Trans rights are human rights. And number 3, say it with me, chat. Robots are cool. Specifically in media and how they can explore different concepts of the self, etc., etc., etc. I may have just watched the Mitchells vs. Machines earlier today. That was fun. So, thank you again for joining me. I hope you'll join me for the review being premiered on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And I can't wait to see all of you on Wednesday for the big premiere of episode 93. And bid a final farewell to this lovely couch that has been with us for all this time. And to all you Ranger fans, until next time, farewell. Let the power protect you.